Comedy legend Gilbert Gottfried dead at 67 years old. But why? That's the question. What is this mystery illness that Gilbert Gottfried was suffering from in private? Some of his friends knew about this, and we're going to talk about it in just a moment. First, if we go back to the beginning of this year and one of the final interviews that Gilbert Gottfried did, he looks a little bit rough, but he still seems to have it together. Watch
I
this.
was having dinner and Jeff Ross called me and he said, I've got some sad news. Bob Saget died.
So he's talking here about the death of his friend Bob Saget. This is back in January. And though he looks a little rough, he looks like Gilbert Gottfried to me. Before we get to the cause of death and this long illness that Gilbert was suffering from, here's the official announcement from the family, which strangely enough wasn't the first announcement of his death. I'll explain that in a moment. We are heartbroken to announce the passing of our beloved Gilbert Gottfried after a long illness. In addition to being the most iconic voice in comedy, was a wonderful husband, brother, friend, and father to his two young children. Although today's a sad day for all of us, please keep laughing as loud as possible in Gilbert's honor. Love the Gottfried family. The first person to actually share this information with the world, of all people, was Seinfeld's Jason Alexander, who apparently didn't even know him that well. So, why was he first? Gilbert Gottfried made me laugh at times when laughter did not come easily. What a gift. I did not know him well, but I loved what he shared with me. My best wishes and sympathy to his family. And while most articles simply said Gilbert Gottfried dead at 67 after battling long illness, a few outlets were able to go a bit deeper because they had his longtime publicist chime in on this. Gottfried died from, brace yourself for some science stuff here, recurrent ventricular tachycardia due to myotonic dystrophy type 2, a disorder that affects the heart. I'll explain what this all does and how you can tell if you have it in just a moment. But that's what killed Gilbert Gottfried. That was the mystery illness he'd been battling for a very long time. Recurrent ventricular tachycardia is the cause of death. That's about his heart. And that was due to myotonic dystrophy type 2, this particular disorder. Myotonic dystrophy type 2 is one of the two types of myotonic dystrophy. It's an inherited muscular dystrophy that affects the muscles and other body systems, notably your heart, your eyes, and your pancreas. It is characterized by prolonged muscle tensing. So your body tenses up very, very tight. In fact, one of the ways people know and can diagnose that they have this myotonic dystrophy type 2 is they'll go in for a handshake and they'll get stuck. Your hand will refuse to release from the other person because your entire body is straining in your neck muscles, your arms, all of this. So when you go for a handshake, you may well squeeze down on the person's hand and end up in an awkward situation where you won't let go. Signs and symptoms usually develop during the person's 20 or 30s. Muscles in the neck, fingers, elbows, hips are typically affected. And they said the severity of this varies. This all caused this ventricular tachycardia, which is a heart issue, the real reason actually for Gilbert Gottfried's death. And it just means that his heart went into an abnormal rhythm, which caused essentially a heart attack and killed Gilbert Gottfried at 67. One thing that we know about Gilbert Gottfried, he would make fun of virtually everything, save for one thing. He had a documentary that you should watch called Gilbert. This article summarizing it says, there's nothing he won't joke about except for cancer. Arlene, we learn as Gilbert closes in on its ending, was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer in 2009. Gottfried might make her laugh, but he won't make her laugh about her illness. And this was something that he took very seriously. But in his battles with myotonic dystrophy type 2, he was fairly private, at least. His friends and his very close friends and relatives knew about this and knew that he was struggling, but he didn't talk about it much in his stand up or on his podcast or on various other platforms that Gilbert Gottfried had. He just said battling long illness from time to time. That's what did it in for the comedic legend. What an amazing guy. Edgy. He's the person who no joke was too soon for him. Anything from tsunamis to 9/11 and pretty much everything except for cancer. But it was this strange issue. And hopefully, we'll get to shed some light on this myotonic dystrophy type 2 so other people who see these symptoms might know what they have and might get something out of the unfortunate, untimely death of Gilbert Gottfried. Let me know what you think about Gilbert in the comments, what your favorite shows, movies, moments were from his life, your favorite Gilbert jokes. Let me know down in the comments below. Facebook.com/The News Junkie. Hit follow. Over at youtube.com/The News Junkie. Hit subscribe. You can support below these posts. I appreciate those of you who do that. Thank you so much for your support. It's much appreciated. I'll see you in the comments as always. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again real soon.